Hello, AFI Movie Club. I'm George C. Wolfe, the director of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, one of AFI's top 10 movies of the year. One of the things that I was very interested in is sort of stripping down the sonic palette. So that in the beginning, you're seeing these trees and you're hearing cicadas, and that's it. And then the next sound you hear is running, and then the next sound you hear is breathing. And that breathing continues to grow, and then you hear a barking dog, and hopefully you're caught up in the potential of what horrible thing is about to happen. And just at the point where you are anticipating that, we realize that these two young men in the South in 1927 are not running from something, they're running to something. And then the sound begins to grow. And so we've gone from the sound of breathing and fear to the sound of possibilities, which is what I think in many respects the blues is. And then we meet Ma Rainey.
Didn't know which way to go. My bell rang this morning. Didn't know which way to go.
It was very important to me in a film where there is so much dialogue and it's so glorious that this whole opening, for lack of better words, prologue, happens without any dialogue. So that in essence, what you're doing is you're following the rhythm of the storytelling of the music. You're following the relationship between Ma and her audience in the South, i.e. a preacher and their congregation. And you're seeing this incredibly intimate interplay of personality and leader, and personality and followers. And you're also getting the sense that there is no separation, that the blues is the rhythm that is uniting everybody in the scene.
Crazy as I can be.
It then shifts, and then you're watching something that almost feels documentary-like, in the sense that you are watching this mass movement that is taking place, which is over 100,000 Black people moved from the South to Chicago. And that's all of these images that you see here are based on photographs from that time period. I didn't want to use the actual photographs because the quality of them would imply nostalgia. I didn't want anything to feel like nostalgia. I wanted to feel like it was happening in the moment. And then we're seeing that carbon arc follow spot flash, which we just passed, which I love because it felt violent and taking away something. Now we're inside of this dynamic where we're starting to meet the personalities. In the beginning sequence, when we were in the South, we didn't notice the band. It was just about Ma. But now that we're in Chicago, where it's no longer about her and the audience, we're watching this dynamic of interplay between Ma and her band. We're meeting Levy, who steals literally the spotlight. And by the time Ma finishes, she reclaims it, thus putting into motion something that we're going to be watching for the rest of the film.
Hey, Daddy!
We also become very clear how each of the band members feel about Levy, who is ambitious and determined to follow the music and follow his heart, just as Ma is determined to follow the music and follow her heart, as long as that what we're following is her and her personality, and we're not following Levy and his ego. The thing which is what I think is really fascinating about August Wilson is that, he wrote 10 plays chronicling the African-American experience in the last century, and Ma Rainey is one of them, and each play is set in a different decade. But what I sort of really love about his work, and I think this is true of a number of American playwrights who somehow are able to capture the essence of what this country is about in all its possibilities and damage and incompleteness, writers like Tennessee Williams or Eugene O'Neill or Tony Kushner, or, is that August, it's almost a musical composition. his words are it's like a blues aria. I think that when the characters in the film speak about their pain or something that they witness or something that is troubling them inside, they almost feel like musical compositions. They feel like blues arias instead of an opera aria where the musicality is in the language, but the musicality is also in the rawness of the emotion and the stakes and the faith and the horror and the belief and the disillusionment is all part of this symphonic equation. And I think that's what makes his writing so thrilling. Theater is really about characters, and they're a metaphor for ideas. And so it's about unearthing those ideas through the choices that the characters and the actors are making. And so when I want to experience that part of my brain, I go do that. But then I want to experience this other part that is about storytelling and about what's happening next and about the unknowns. That's film. You are given permission to obsess about every single detail because every single detail can enhance the storytelling of the moment.